In Dream of the Red Chamber, life moves in circles unseen, its currents silent yet inexorable. Within these cycles, the story of Baoyu and Dayu unfolds, not as a love born of chance, but as an echo of vows made beyond the mortal veil. Every encounter is a continuation of something unfinished. Every farewell is a return, a ripple from what was, finding form again in what is. The bond of Baoyu and Dayu stretches across life and death, threading through the mortal realm, a continuation of karmic ties from past lives. The Dream of the Red Chamber reveals to its readers that within the endless cycles of existence, the individual holds little sway. Yet the silent current of reincarnation guides each reunion and parting. This sense of fate is at once desolate and profoundly contemplative. In heaven, Shen Ying's hands poured the immortal dews upon the crimson pearl flower, and in that silent care, a covenant was sown. A covenant that time and rebirth could not undo. Thus was fate sealed. Shen Ying descended to the mortal world, reborn as Jia Baoyu, bearer of the spirit stone once left from the goddess Nuwa's work. Nourished by Shen Ying, the crimson pearl flower took mortal shape as Lin Dayu. Her tears pledged to repay the rain of kindness once bestowed. The pledge of wood and stone was not written in ink, but inscribed in lifetimes. Every tear she shed was the echo of celestial dew. Every tenderness between them, half recognition, half remembrance, was the slow awakening of a debt from a past life. Within this rhythm of giving and returning, the soul finds both bondage and meaning. Enmeshed in the relentless tides of rebirth, their fates coil and intersect along the unyielding paths of karma, beyond all escape, beyond all resistance. Their tragedy was not a matter of chance, but inscribed in fate long before, written in symbols that no mortal could escape. Dayu, burying the fallen blossoms, whispers, "When I am gone, who will bury me?" Her lament for the flowers is a lament for herself, for all that lives and suffers within the inexorable flow of karma. The drifting petals whisper the transience of all things, endlessly returning from bloom to dust. Elsewhere, in a dream of the illusory land of great void, Baoyu reads the verses of the 12 beauties of Jinling. Dayu's fate gleams cold within them. A jade belt hangs in the woods, a golden pin buried in the snow. It is prophecy disguised as poetry, a decree from heaven. He sees it, yet cannot avert it. Baoyu's rebellion, the shattering of the spirit stone, the refusal of his gold and jade marriage, was not mere defiance, but a desperate grasp at spiritual truth. He clung to the pledge of wood and stone, rejecting the hollow promise of worldly order. Yet the household, heavy with ritual and decay, claimed him still. Dayu's final act, burning her verses as her life ebbed, completed her covenant of tears. Baoyu's departure into monastic silence closed the circle. Stone returned to stone, soul to origin. It is not merely the fulfillment of a divine promise, it is also a piercing critique of the feudal order and the inexorable tide of fate. Their tragedy echoes across civilizations. In the Ramayana, Rama and Sita are bound by the inexorable weave of fate, their lives pulled by forces beyond mortal will. In the tale of Genji, love drifts through impermanent existences, leaving traces of longing and loss across fleeting lifetimes. In the record of clouds, souls wander endlessly, carrying the karmic debts of affection through cycles of birth and death. Each tale, though rooted in a different soil, resonates with the same eternal truth. Love and suffering are not mere accidents, but threads in the ceaseless turning of destiny, inscribed deep into the architecture of the universe. Eastern thought sees life as a ceaseless stream. What we sow becomes what we inherit. What remains unpaid is reborn in other forms. The Dream of the Red Chamber captures this truth, not as doctrine, but as experience. Each emotion a fragment of karma taking shape. Buddhism teaches of 6 realms: gods, humans, asuras, beasts, hungry spirits, and hells, through which the soul drifts, each existence shaped by the karma of the last, until enlightenment dissolves the cycle. Taoism speaks of the soul's return to its essence, a journey through countless forms, shedding each in turn to reunite with the uncarved origin. Baoyu's spirit stone is both burden and key, the relic of divine duty, the symbol of unfinished cultivation. His final renunciation mirrors the Taoist return to simplicity, the restoration of what once was whole. The circle closes, dews nourished in life, tears repaying what was sown. Shen Ying waters crimson pearl flower. Crimson pearl flower weeps in gratitude, from the haunting recognition at first sight, to Baoyu's shattering of the spirit jade and refusal of the worldly gold and jade union, and finally to Dayu's lament over the flowers until her tears run dry. Each moment reinforces the unbroken bonds of past lives. The spirit jade binds Baoyu to his celestial destiny, while the crimson pearl flower, reborn as Lin Daiyu, repays the dues of former lives with tears. The three lifestone bears witness to the recognition that crosses incarnations. Each symbol casts a shadow of fate within the unbroken chain of cause and effect. The cycle of Baoyu and Daiyu unfolds not merely as tragedy, but as a meditation on karma and the impermanence of attachment. Rooted in myth, their grief reflects the constraints of fate and the weight of social order, subtly critiquing Confucian hierarchy and ritual. The pronouncements of the grand void echo through their lives, revealing the emptiness beneath every bond. Through the chain of offering and repayment of tears, myth and reality merge, turning personal sorrow into a reflection on predestination and the dissolution of worldly illusion. In this intertwining of Buddhist and Taoist thought, where karma meets cultivation and form meets emptiness, the dream of the red chamber greater than attains a depth beyond its era. Love and grief are no longer merely human, but the visible pulse of the eternal cycle. The sorrow of Baoyu and Daiyu does not belong only to the realm of dreams. It is the echo of reality. Within the feudal cage, individual love and freedom slip through one's grasp like drifting sand. Shaped and constrained by forces beyond will, the arranged marriage, the silenced grief, the tears turned inward, reflects the collision between individual will and the inexorable rules of society, all bound by the unseen currents of karma. In reality, lives are sculpted by the currents of history, culture, and law. In the dream of the red chamber, the philosophy of karma and cyclical return fuses personal tragedy with the patterns of society, so that every tear and struggle resonates both as individual suffering and as the echo of structural fate. The poems of buried flowers, the burning of verses, the pronouncements from the grand void, all are symbols of fate, yet they also remind us that causality and constraint in the world of the living flow, like the river of karma, inescapable, relentless, but perceptible to awareness, offering glimpses of freedom and understanding. The story of Baoyu and Daiyu reveals that the cycles of life and the debts of the heart are more than romantic legend. They are a philosophy that transcends time. In a world woven of social order, human desire, and predestination, love and tragedy perpetuate in endless forms. Just as in their cycles, the constraints and consequences of the living world cannot be escaped. Yet each moment of perception grants a subtle measure of insight and liberty. The tragedy of Baoyu and Daiyu proves that love belongs not merely to this life. It flows through the cycles of rebirth, carrying the debts and consequences of past existences. Every tear, every entanglement, is a ripple along the river of reincarnation, revealing karma and bringing it to fruition. Yet the cycle of rebirth is not endless repetition. It is an opportunity for awareness and growth. When the deeper currents of feeling and destiny are understood, love transcends possession and entanglement, and the circle of karma is completed. Love is a cycle, and understanding ends it. True awakening does not alter fate. It grasps it, allowing love and karma to find their proper course. The tears of Daiyu, the renunciation of Baoyu, each act fulfills destiny within the cycle, leaving a final resonance of love, life, and the unyielding law of cause and effect. Echoing through the cycles of existence,